And we've got a lot to talk about. Former state Senate candidate here with me in the studio. If you guys want to ask him a question, you can. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good. Bring in the clowns. I am here.
If I knew you wanted that song, I would have played it.
I don't think you introduced me as former candidate. I don't think you got the bio that I gave you because it also includes chairman of the Clinton Republican Town Committee.
Keep going. Tell me.
I'm on the board of directors for the Josh Mattel Foundation, for those who are in the know about that.
All right.
I'm on the advisory board for Manchester Community College's hospitality. There's a lot, Lee. We could spend the whole time
just talking about you.
And by the way, Bob Stefanowski texted me and wanted me to say thank you to you for not putting us back to back in our appearances here, because he finally got to have an appearance without me jumping in on it.
I tried. He wanted to stay as far away from you as possible.
Yes, the restraining order. There is that whole restraining order.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but there's a 30-minute restraining order that the judge put together between the two of you. Listen, you had a great event last night.
We did. We had a great event. The organization that I'm involved with, the GOP's 33rd District Council, had a fundraising event last night, an intimate dinner with the leaders of the state Republican Party. And it went great. We were looking, as you remember, I came on here several times looking for 25 people. We ended up with 32 in the room.
Nice.
So it was excellent. I have to thank all those who came out, Chairman Ben Proto, both Themis Claridis and Bob Stefanowski were big stars in the room. It was great to have them. And even some of your listeners, Gordon from Old Lyme, who often calls in.
Great guy.
He was there. Jan, Jan's from
Lyme,
around.
I think you
yeah, this area. She was there.
Yep.
So it was great to even connect with some of your listeners.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad it was a success, and I'm happy we could be a small part of it.
I got some of that Lee drip on me. It was like, I love you on the radio.
Oh, they love you on the radio.
Yeah. We love you on Lee's show.
That's great. Great. Good for you. I'm glad that you got that off the ground finally, because you had the COVID hiccup in the middle.
It was supposed to be back in the fall, and we had to cancel it, reschedule it because of that, and kind of our numbers fell off, and we had to regather everybody. But it turned out great. And for those who are part of the 33rd district, I'm not going to say all 12 towns. You kind of know, if Norm Needleman is your senator, we are the opposition. And this council meets. This is an organization that meets on a monthly basis for the purpose of the Republican grassroots efforts that's needed in those 12 towns to have our voices heard. Our next meeting will be Saturday, March 26th, 10 a.m. at the East Haddam Grange.
Have you guys decided on a candidate to go against?
We do, but I can't announce.
Oh, it's a secret. Fancy.
If you had been there last night, no, it isn't me. I can dispel all the myths that it is me.
Okay.
If you had been there last night, we did introduce the candidate last night.
Oh, we did?
Yes, we did.
Okay. All right. I'll find out. I'll find out before this half hour's over. I can tell you that right now. So whoever was there last night, you send me that name. I demand it. Hey, last night you were talking to
Gordon, don't say a thing.
Last night you guys talked a lot about values, right?
Yeah, a lot of different things. It kind of hit. We gave the leaders a few minutes to speak, and then I closed us down. I told that great story of my family and how on my father's side we ascended out of slavery, and somehow without any coordination we all touched on different themes, and of course one of the great themes is the values. The core Republican values that bring us together: personal freedom, limited government, and fiscal responsibility. And one of the things in particular that I pointed out, I'll say there were two things, but one of the things in particular that I pointed out is that I'm a ordained minister.
Right.
I am a preacher of the gospel. The word gospel simply means good news. do we or do we not believe that we have good news? Can we look at the face of what's happening in this state, in this country, in our communities and say, politically speaking, we have good news for you. We have ideas and things that we want to forward, a direction to go that in fact is good news, that will unleash your personal freedom, that will, instead of handcuffing you, instead of putting you in a government created program that ends up keeping you in the very same state that you're in, we have things that we want to do that will actually free you up. Bob actually touched on it this morning when he talked about people want to be successful. Yep. I don't know anybody who doesn't ultimately want to be successful. People, in fact, who reach that point where they're settling for not being successful, that's exactly what it is. They're settling for it. Right. And we come along and we're going, hey, we're not going to hold your hand and pat your back while you're being unsuccessful. We're going to help you overcome the barriers. And I was thinking about this on my drive in. A great example is just the dignity of having a job, right? So the two biggest things hurting this state right now is unaffordable. It's unaffordable to live here and the jobs, the lack of jobs.
Right.
And do you remember the old Calvin's got a job? It was an old McDonald's commercial. There was this kid hanging on the block, and then the older people who were on the block started being like, hey, whatever happened to Calvin? Calvin used to be out here hanging on the block, right? And here was the thing. They said, Calvin's got a job. Calvin got a job at McDonald's. That's how we say it in the hood. McDonald's. It's not McDonald's. It's McDonald's when I'm down in Old Saybrook. But when I hang out with my brothers in the hood, it's McDonald's is my spot. But the whole idea that, where has that idea gone? When we look at the younger generation, and when we look at those who have been stuck in poverty for generations, where has that old idea gone of, I'm going to start building your respect and your dignity by providing a job for you? Right. Again, my opponent and Democrats would rather talk about the minimum wage, right? Where I'm sitting there and going, no, I just want to get you a job, get you to a place where you're starting to realize I can bring in money myself. I can now grow and expand myself, and I can start providing for me and my family. If this is good news, and this is just an example of the different good news that we have, why aren't we spreading it? Why aren't we spreading it individually? Why aren't we spreading it in our communities? And I'll give you the other example is we need to be in other rooms. As much as I love you, Lee, and love coming on this show, I should also be on NPR talking about this stuff, right? You should. Getting in other rooms to talk about this. And that, again, Bob touched on this both in your appearance here, in his appearance today, and last night. Right. This interview that he did, I was blown away when I saw the interview of him in the day, because they didn't treat me kindly.
Yeah,
Lee.
Well, that's
here. I'd never asked to be treated kindly. I just asked to be given a chance. Just hear me out and all that. And that, exactly. So are we going to go to other rooms? So the thing that's happened recently is that the Republican Party here in the state, in partnership with the National Republican Party, has opened a minority outreach center in New Britain. All sorts of fanfare about that last week when that happened. Yeah. Listen.
Were you there?
I was not.
Okay. Did you just say that?
No, I only said it because everybody keeps asking me, were you there? Were you there? It's like, no.
Not that you have to go there.
Somehow I wasn't there. Yeah. That's all right. Okay, well, yeah. Anyways, it's a good thing. I don't want anybody to take what I'm about to say and think that I don't think it's a good thing. Right. My simple questions were, what took so long? Yeah. Why have we been content so long to not be having this dialogue in those communities? Sure. Why 100%. Is it only considered strategic now?
100%.
This is something that if, again, we believe we have the good news, if we believe that what we are about is right and is the proper way to do it and is actually going to help people, then this is worth doing all the time because it's the right thing and it's the right approach. And listen, again, even as Bob said, I'm not opposed to having discussions across the aisle, right? Because both sides are supposed to be in there for the people. And that's the issue, is that the Democrats are for the Democrats. And the Republicans, well, they're stuck in the corner anyway, because baby always gets put in the corner. So those are just some of the themes that we talked about last night.
That's good stuff. Well, that's good. I bet you the people that were there are very fortunate and left that night last night, thinking that it was really a great event that they got a chance to go to.